and welcome back to my channel. So today I have another speed bake for you, and this cake in particular is a 5-inch cake and it has already been crumb coated, and the flavor of this cake is actually quite delicious. It is a cookie butter cake, so the cake layers are actually like the cinnamon cake, and the filling is a thin layer of vanilla buttercream, a thin layer of cookie butter buttercream, a drizzle of cookie butter, and crushed Biscoff cookies. And if you've never heard of cookie butter, if you've ever heard of Biscoff cookies, it's basically that in like a spreadable form. I know that sounds really weird, but it is so delicious. I highly recommend trying it. You can find it in the grocery store, like near the peanut butter. I hear a lot of people call Biscoff cookies like airline cookies, like that they serve them a lot on airplanes. I personally don't know because I don't really ever fly. I think I've flown like once in my life, but if you know what that is, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I highly suggest trying that. And honestly, this cake, when you cut into it, has a gorgeous cross section. So definitely stick around for the photos at the end so you can take a look at that. But for this cake, I decided that I wanted to do a sprinkle pattern on the side of it, just using some metallic sprinkles. And when I say metallic, I mean safe to eat sprinkles. They're not actual metal. They're just shiny, both gold and silver. And just putting them in an alternating colored zigzag pattern on the side, which you kind of see there, and you'll see more in a second. The rest of the cake, I actually end up doing a frosting decoration on it, which I'll talk a little bit more about here in a second. But basically I decided that I wanted to use the color scheme purple and yellow. I don't know why, I just felt like that would be a good combo to go with. So the frosting pattern I'm using is actually very simple to do. I know that I'm using like an offset spatula and a piping bag with piping tips, but you actually don't need to use those things. I just have them, so I use them. But basically you just put a small dot of frosting, you take your spatula, and then you just spread out that dot. I know that sounds really weird, but basically just pressing it into the dot and then smearing it off to one side. And then you come back in with the next color, or the same color if you're just going to use the same color, and you put another dot of frosting right there in that smeared part of frosting and do it all over again. It kind of creates this like scale pattern, so I feel like it's really useful if you're doing like a mermaid cake or a fish cake or something like that. I mean, this is not that, but just a couple ideas if you want to try it yourself. Really all you need is something that will be able to do dots of buttercream, so even just a plastic bag will work. And then in terms of how to spread it, an offset spatula, or you can use a spoon or a knife, something like that. Just need to be able to spread the frosting, and that should work just fine. So definitely doable with whatever you have already in your kitchen. It does take a little while. I did cut out a section of it for this video. I didn't want you to have to sit through the whole time I was trying to do it. I think a rainbow design would be really cool with this. I just haven't done it yet because like I said, it's a little bit time consuming, and I can imagine the more colors, maybe the more time consuming this becomes. But I do add a border on the top using white, yellow, and purple. And here in a second, you'll see actually how I do that. So what I end up doing is taking a piece of plastic wrap, putting that down on my turntable, and then just adding like rows of frosting. So alternating with the purple, yellow, and white. And then what you do is you actually roll it up, and then you just cut off the end of the plastic, and you can just drop that straight into your piping bag or whatever you're using to frost. And the reason I do that, it's a really easy way to combine all of those colors. Not only does it also like not get super messy, but if you've ever tried to put multiple colors into a piping bag neatly, it can be kind of difficult. So that is just a tip that I actually use all of the time, is just putting it in plastic wrap. And then it's also easy to clean up because you can just take it back out of the piping bag. So of course, just adding sprinkles on top, and all of these sprinkles are from my favorite sprinkle brand, Sweet Polita. Highly recommend. So just adding a little bit of those metallic accents on top, and then I just end up adding some pearls to the side in a pattern, because I feel like I always ask myself, should I add more sprinkles? And I feel like the answer is always yes. So I'm adding a few more, and then that will be it for this cake. So we're coming to the end here of this video, so be sure to stick around for the pictures. If you like the video, be sure to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I have a playlist down below of my other baking videos. I hope you have a really sweet day. Bye, everybody.